Hello and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on Michael Datcher's YouTube channel and goes into 5 and then 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Today we are talking about a really important topic, communing with God, communing with spirit, communing with your community, with your family, and what is that particular process's connection to productivity? How does communing with yourself, spirit, people impact your level of productivity? A really important topic. All right. We are, for those who are new, we are a show aimed at entrepreneurs and those who have their own business and those who would like to own their own business and those who simply would like to live, who would like to live like a boss. As you may also be able to discern from the show's title, we're also interested in the idea of using joy itself, as a technology to move us towards our goals and objectives. We encourage everyone on the show to start their own business, eventually that they may fund their own dream and their own dream project. We also, of course, have a very powerful live program where we come and speak to groups, organizations, schools, and colleges, where we help in a group setting folk engage in the process of becoming more productive through joy. For all that, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com, see about us, have me come out and speak to your group, organization, or school, as I am the main speaker. And yes, reach out. You can also go to, of course, the Michael Datcher YouTube channel, which broadcasts this show live right now, in case you were getting this from a secondhand resource via your social media networks. You can also simply go to michaeldatcher.com where there are various links. All right. Again, today we're talking about communing, and what is that connection between that process is connection between that communing itself and productivity. All right. Allow me to say a few words about myself before we move on. Well, I should probably also say that, as we know from 10th grade science, there's a scientific imperative behind the feeling of joy. Now, when the body is feeling joyful, what's happening at a biochemical level is that the body is flooding itself with endorphins, and those endorphins can give us a sense of euphoria that we can then leverage to move ourselves towards our goals and objectives, right? So let me say a few words about myself now. I am Dr. Michael Datcher, your author and your boy. I'm the host of this show, obviously, and also the author of the acclaimed historical novel Americas, which is set 13 miles from Ferguson, where Michael Brown was murdered, and of course the conflagration that ensued happened there as well. That book is about identical twin sons, one of whom gets vitiligo, the so-called Michael Jackson disease. I'm also the author of the acclaimed, um, the upcoming acclaimed book. I just said that right. We talked about Americas. We talked about Raising Fences. That book was a New York Times bestseller. The film rights were optioned by the actor Will Smith, whose people called my people, and I eventually agreed to write the screenplay for that particular project. I'm also the former executive director of the World Stage Literary and Jazz venue here in California. My educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergraduate. My master's is from UCLA, and my PhD in English literature is from the University of California at Riverside. I'm currently a professor of English Lit at LMU here in California. I'm an expert at being productive, all right? I don't say that to brag, but people are oftentimes surprised at my level of productivity given how crazy my own personal narrative is. I'm the product of a young girl who was raped at 16, gave birth to me at 17, then subsequently gave me up for adoption as a single divorcee. Although my adopted mother is amazing and was amazing then, at the time there were no biological father, no adopted father. Listen, difficult times for the young MD, right? Yet, as Kool Modi famously said, "How you like me now?" And if I can be this productive through joy, so can many of us who are watching this show. In fact, that in many ways inspires our business in this show, because we know what it's like to come through hardship, to come out, to emerge from that, and to still be able to have a heightened level of abundant success um, and self-mastery. All right. So again, we're not saying that everyone can do that, but we're saying that maybe you can, right? And that's the key, because at this point it's about you and about me, because we're talking on the show together. But what can you do to make that particular change in your life. You may be in a station in your life where you don't want to make any changes or evolve, which is totally fine. But if you would like to evolve and like to become more, we feel like we have a very, very powerful program, and especially for the youth. We have again, a very powerful live program aimed at the youth, because, in part because of my own challenging situation, we have a special interest in helping young people. So go to productivethroughjoy.com, see about us. We offer live one-on-one Productive Through Joy consulting and training, and we speak to groups and organizations, and especially schools. So again, today we're talking, guys, about communing and productivity. In the morning show, we like to also talk about the import of framing your day before your day has a chance to frame you. As we know, at times we wake up in the morning with trouble on our mind. That trouble follows us throughout our day. We go to sleep with trouble on our mind. Take that into our dream sleep state, wake up with it again. That begins to be several days or a week or a month or a lot of our life. And when you have trouble on your mind, often there's going to be a kind of stress tethered to that trouble, right? You are stressed, you're thinking about these things like, my goodness, it's very, very challenging. It also impacts our health in a very dramatic way. As we know from modern science, stress is a killer. It impinges upon your heart condition, your heart's healthiness. It creates hypertension. It just breaks down your body because it's chemically based. Stress is tied to the release of chemicals into your bloodstream, and those chemicals are destructive. And so we know that to be true. And when you introduce money or business into the equation, that stress exponentially increases. So we know that just as a practical reality, we really work with entrepreneurs especially, and those who simply want to live in abundance like a boss, because that process oftentimes involves them having to change behaviors or change aspects of their life, or to deal with past things that, listen, are roadblocks. All right, so we deal with that, the stressors of life, in the context of ritual. Ritual can be defined as essentially doing the same thing at around the same time. What does that mean? Well, it's best seen through example. Let me give you my brief morning ritual as an exemplar. So in the mornings, I wake up at 3:45, including this morning, or a little earlier this morning, for whatever reason, who knows. I read a couple of spiritual or business books. I do our show at 4:45 here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel. And then I work on my current book, my current novel, until sunrise. I live along the coast here in Venice Beach, California. Then I walk out to the beach. I bring my drum. I do yoga. I meditate. I pray. It's very, very powerful. Just me and the seagulls. I come back. I work on my current book for a while longer until I then go back to the beach to run up the coast past Santa Monica's Pier, all the way back to Venice here to go to my gym, Gold's Gym. So by 9:30, guys, I'm feeling amazing. My body's being flooded with endorphins, that endorphin release. I leverage that endorphin release to give me a sense of euphoria that I can then move, that helps to move me towards my goals and objectives, which for me personally involve, of course, consulting, as we do with this business, real estate and publishing. So we're not saying do what I do, but we are saying do something. We are saying and do something every day in a ritualized manner, because life happens to us every day, right? And it makes sense. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to live in abundance like a boss, you want to be consistent and do something every day to prepare for that, because it ain't easy. It's simple in many ways, honestly, but it ain't easy. So for my readings, I'm reading two great books now. I'm reading this book called The Nag Hammadi Library, which is it's a book of ancient spiritual scriptures, really powerful stuff. I'm also reading a book called You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, which is kind of a book about having a wealth mindset. For many of us, including me coming up, our attitudes about money were retrograde, not developed. And we oftentimes thought that money was bad, or that only the evil people made money, or all the super rich people are just bad people. And we just kind of embrace that having lots of money or money's the root of all evil. All right, that's just propaganda. You can be very abundant and be an amazing person who serves your community and does amazing things. Because in our system of capitalism, it takes resources, although we need to, no doubt, tweak it and make it more just and have clearly health care for all, obviously. But there are great benefits as well, obviously, to our system, even with all of this myriad of problems that need to be addressed. And it's what we have right now anyway, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon. And so we want to find a way to make it work for us. So that's some real talk. And so we have to embrace it as much as we can in an ethical way. And so one way that we do that is by procuring the resources to do what we need to do for our family, friends, and relations, all right? Which goes into, my daughter's waking up. Honey, 1 second, baby. That's daddy being called to daddy duty. I'll be there in 1 second. Her room's next to my office. Let me finish up here. So I'm reading 2 great books now. From them, I extract some wisdom called The Morning Chant, which today is meditating. As a meditating natural mystic, I commune with God, so I evolve to manifest abundance for myself, my family, and my community. Once again, as a meditating natural mystic, I commune with God, so I evolve to manifest abundance for myself, my family, and my community. So from that reading, I create the morning show and also do and contemplate these ideas throughout my day. So today we're talking about communing with God and other things, communing and productivity. Let's dive in. Go to productivethroughjoy.com. Please become a subscriber on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel as well. So point 1 quickly is you want to be able to develop a ritual, as we talked about before, of communing with yourself, right? You want to do something every morning, taking a walk, taking some time to be quiet with yourself every day. It could be 5 minutes to begin with. And then once you begin to get into that particular process, you want to be able to commune also with what I'll just call God. You can call it God, Spirit, Yahweh, the universe, whatever. But when you take some time, things like meditating, things like yoga, where you commune with the spiritual being, prayer, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do, but in that spiritual space, to do that as a part of your life in a ritualized manner. And then once you begin to see that, what you'll figure out is that communing with yourself is also part and parcel of communing with God, right? And as you begin to commune the self with God, because in many of the primordial spiritual systems, they believed that God is everywhere, and God can't be created or destroyed. God has changed his forms. So if God is everywhere, God is also inside of you. And they believe that, the ancient Egyptians believed especially, that the way to know God is to know thyself, is to deep dive into the self and figure out tap into that God that's also inside of you. And so as you do those things, that tripartite approach, what you get is a heightened level of joyfulness and a heightened level of productivity. And I cannot overstate the importance of that. Listen, everyone's got problems. I got a gang of them. If you need some, I can loan you about 20 of them. Everyone's got problems. That's just life. So one of the keys to life, guys, is problem management, because we all got them, right? So, and when you're in the joy, when you are in a space of gratitude, despite what's going on, that's when you can go and become your most productive person. So, boom, there goes the dynamite. That's it for today's show. Let me go be daddy here. My daughter's waking up. We air each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel and 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Thanks for being here. Please also become a subscriber on that YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, and go to michaeldatcher.com. Bring me out to speak to your organization, school, or college. We love talking to people live and in person. All right. So until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.